What would you tell yourself 2.5 years ago when you were opening up this place? What piece of advice would you give yourself?
Maybe don't do it. I don't know. I mean, it's been a real struggle. It's been so much sacrifice and effort. And people think like, oh, we're busy and like I'm killing it and like should be all comfortable. I was here till 2 there. I was here pushing out squares last night and then coming back, going to sleep and come back for the interview. So there's a lot of little things that need to happen. It's great to be loved and be the neighborhood pizzeria guy, but it's also like at the end of the day, is it worth it? And I think it potentially, I believe in myself, it will be, but it's just I'm not out of it yet.
How often do you second guess yourself?
All the time.
Yeah.
I'm an overthinker by nature. Thinking, just can't stop thinking.
Do you have to stop yourself and be like, shut the fuck up, dude? You're doing this. Like,
it's true.
You fucking got it.
I mean, I really did a lot of this myself. I was coming in here by myself, painting it in the middle of the night. I was like fixing the floors. It's great what I built. It's just hard to see because it's a lot of work and it's not a lot of money and it can get stressful at times. And there's a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of change. I'm just sort of like been drowning for a while and I'm just starting to like just get better at treading water. And the longer you do it, the easier it becomes.
The following podcast is a Pie to Pie production.
Every slice tells a story.
This episode is brought to you by Maestro Sausage, the only sausage we use at Hot Tongue. They produce sausages specifically with pizzerias in mind, and you can tell. So if your sausage isn't hitting all the right notes, let Maestro lead the way. Flat iron pepper. When you pop these peppers, you are gonna know. You can smell it, you can feel it, you can taste it. They are liberating pizzerias from low quality pepper flakes. Stop finishing your pizza with crap. Head to flatironpepper.com and join the pepper flake revolution. Ovation, how great restaurants get better. Frictionless feedback, operational insights, real-time guest recovery, text marketing, and call to text. Click the link in the show notes. Schedule a demo today. Do you guys make time for each other in a certain way? You said that you're closed Sunday, Monday, basically, so you can have a family day and and then another day off.
I try my best. We're working on it this year. Yeah, this is a year kind of like step away. Partly the idea about opening up on Mondays is to kind of generate a little bit more cash flow, so I can take away another day and just be off. Right now I'm like online and I do all the other stuff, admin stuff at night. So it gets pretty overwhelming for me too.
How big's your staff?
Staff's about 7 now. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's including like servers and everything?
Yeah. So we it's a small restaurant. We only have 1 to 2 servers a night. Okay. And then like the kitchen focus is really strong. We have like four to 3 people back there running food. On Friday nights, our busiest night, we have tons of people. But yeah.
So there's no other day that you're here Tuesday through Saturday?
Yeah. I'm here Monday through Saturday.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we're open Monday through Saturday. Yeah.
Is that mostly to keep down on payroll, or is it mostly because you're a control freak? And
both. Costs are really expensive. And, in the beginning, we were like hemorrhaging so much money. So there's this point where like, it was kind of scary to me to ever be in that place where it's like, we're at that point. So I'm like, kind of like, after when we hit a certain point, I think I'll be more comfortable to step away. But our sales are growing, but they're growing pretty slow. So like, I just feel like I need to be around a little more, and like, the quality is always better when I'm around. And so, but our reputation is really good. People love us. So like, I feel more confident, stepping away a little more now.
Is it something that like, is that like a plan of yours? I know that like, I just talked to different owners, so it's like, you have the owner that like, one, we talked about it in New York. First time, I think somebody said it was Tommy from DOP. He's being chained to your oven, and not thinking that anyone else can make the same quality as you.
Yeah.
Do you struggle with that? Like, is it like...
I do. I think, yeah. It takes a while, everyone has different pizza experiences. It takes a while to have people care as much. No one's gonna care as much as I do. So it's like, and with people really fickle with the way they spend right now, it's like the experiences have to be really stellar in order to survive. I mean, if you're not trying to put out your best forward right now, especially because like people are struggling with inflation, everything costs a lot of money. So like, oh, well, I just had a mid pizza. I could just stay at home and cook pasta or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah.
you have to really hit it on all fronts, and it's really competitive now. So we're still growing. We're still growing our clientele. So I really want the experiences people grab to be like the best that we have to offer.
Yeah.
Because if you have a bad experience, you're never coming back. And so that's why I'm kind of a control freak in a way. But it's like, it's also hard because like I have so many years of culinary experience, and like it's hard to transfer that over,
Yeah.
And there's so many nuances to things that like, and the nuances are what gonna set you apart from other people.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a combination of everything. But yeah, payroll, labor margins, and keeping costs down, but also making sure the product is as the best it can be or as intended.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I'm here all the time.
Well, do you feel confident in your staff that like
I do.
if
I totally
like
do.
say you broke your fucking like you broke your arms.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
you have a guy that it's like, all right.
Yeah.
Like that's my guy.
So I have a guy that's been, we've only been open for 2 years, but I have a guy that I've been working for like 6 years from the other restaurants, and he's like my rock. And we have a few other guys been here for a year, and they're all super solid. So, yeah.
How do you think? What do you think the best way of getting somebody? Because that's to rewind. It's always like no one's gonna care as much as I do.
Yeah.
And you do have more on the line because
Yeah.
if somebody sends out a shitty pizza, oops, I made a mistake. But like it's in your box. It's in a restaurant that you pay all the bills. Like it's gonna
Yeah.
be you losing that customer is very scary in a way.
Yeah.
Is there a way that you interact with your people to make sure that they understand what the integrity is here, what you want out of your pizza, and to make sure that like whether your back is turned or you're not here,
Yeah.
that it's
Yeah.
always coming out tip top?
I think, everyone's different and everyone's motivated differently and everyone has different attitudes. But I think part of what we do here is like, everyone has a base pay here, and there's tips because we're kind of a pizza restaurant / slice shop, which is really confusing to do. But everyone has equally shared tips, and we all kind of cross over and help each other out. We all are able to do somewhat a little bit of help in each other's way. So like their pay is based on sort of the performance that we do too. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of is motivating, and like, I've been a back of the house guy for so long, and there's servers that come in at other restaurants that make like $300 a night. And, the kitchen staff's like making like barely anything plus like, okay, you got like $10 in tips. And here we have like everyone is making the same. So there's no like animosity, and there's this group effort that we all work together, and we're all kind of working through this goal. But then at the end of the night, people are making like anywhere from like 29 to 34 an hour,
Yeah.
which is stellar for cooks. And so that is kind of motivating
Yeah.
for people. And it's also helpful, and make sure like, because they're making good in tips, it means that we're doing good in service too.
So everyone pools tips. So like a server is
Yeah.
going to pool with the kitchen.
But we make sure the kitchen runs food and like buses
Yeah,
tables. We
isn't-
come all
isn't
out.
just
We
like-
all
it's a
kind of
team. It's a team
We all
effort.
come out. Like there's been times where like the table restaurants turn. I told everybody to stop what they're doing in the kitchen, and just all of us come out and just wipe every single table and just
Yeah.
have a sit.
That'd be I would love to be at a restaurant where I just see everyone come out of the kitchen and just start hitting tables.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, we're not like super heavily staffed, but like sometimes it just happens in a way where like so much is happening for the front of the house. So like, and we outnumber people in the kitchen, so
Yeah.
we can just come out and like, all right, let's just stop everything we're doing, like make sure we're good, or like one person stays in and just like come out and like hit it all. Let's bust all these tables up, have everybody sit down, and then let's go again. Because like at that point, we're probably slow in the kitchen because everyone's been fed. Unless there's like crazy takeout or going on, we're probably a lot more relaxed in the front. So,
Do you do third party?
we do third party. So I didn't do third party for the first year, and it was a struggle. But I really was focused on dine-in. I was really focused on locking myself in this neighborhood. I was really focused on creating the business and having it sustain itself without third party.
Yeah.
And really forcing myself to give that customer experience and building that clientele. And then I opened the third party up. We just do DoorDash right now. And it's great. It's super helpful. It's just hard to see the margins, them take that cut. We do raise our prices a little bit on DoorDash.
Yeah.
And they do some shady practices here and there, but
Do you have an exclusive deal with DoorDash to keep like any of your commission down or anything?
I don't. I should talk to them about that.
You should
but-
definitely talk to them. Though
Yeah.
if you say, well, they don't know, but I'm pretty sure that's the only way you can.
Yeah.
You can get money, or like you like, all right, I'll only use you. Because
Yeah.
you go into other places, there's like 16 tablets. It's like, holy fuck, no thank you.
exactly what I didn't want.
Yeah.
I just wanted to keep it real simple. I'm not trying to make like the most amount of money. I'm just trying to make a good living and like make sure the quality of what we do is good.
Yeah.
And the feeling is good. And that's why I really wanted to not do DoorDash, just
Yeah.
because it's like, okay. And then plus part of what we talked about is like my guys get tips for that's some of their pay, and they won't get tipped to be making a lot of pizzas on DoorDash. So
Yeah, because you lose credibility once it leaves the restaurant.
yeah.
It's just crazy. I've
Yeah.
had drivers just
Oh,
hand pizzas upside down to people, and it's like,
And you get like 1-star reviews on DoorDash, and like you're like, well, what am I supposed to do?
yeah, it's like you can't get mad about it because you're the one who's doing business with this company, or at
Yeah.
least that's how I look at it. It's like,
It's
all
true.
right, I have to take accountability because I'm using this platform.
Yeah.
And maybe 80% of the time it's always great.
Yeah.
But it's that 20% that's fucking, I can't believe that happened.
I know.
What if you could have a direct line to your customers? Since using Ovation, that's exactly what we've had. 10 out of 10. Ovation has been a game changer at Hot Tongue. It has also upped our Google and Yelp reviews by almost 300%. It teams up with our POS and they send out these surveys after every order from us about their service, the food, everything. If it's anything lower than 5 stars, they can comment on why their experience wasn't the greatest. This has helped us save customers and see how we need to change. It's allowed for us to have data that we did not have before, send guests discount codes right through your POS to make it better, and it creates the possibility to fix something before it goes to a 1 star at Yelp. Frictionless feedback, operational insights, real-time guest recovery, text marketing, and call to text. Click the link in the show notes. Schedule a demo today. Ovation, how great restaurants get better. When you decided to get to go into culinary, I read that you were going to go to CAA.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
decided you
Yeah.
weren't impressed
Okay. Where the fuck did you read that? That's
and,
crazy. Okay. But that's true. That's very true.
because when I come to these interviews, I
know.
show up prepared. You know
I just
what I'm
don't know
saying?
where. I mean, I have said that. I just don't know where you. That's crazy. You're like a Nardwar on me.
That's what I try to do. Good inspiration.
Hell
That
yeah.
guy can
Guy's
interview.
amazing.
He
amazing.
is.
So
But you weren't impressed.
Yeah.
And you did something that I think is what most people should do in any trade is you got right
Yeah.
into it. When you started that journey, was it a pizza restaurant that you wanted to get
No.
into? Can you kind
Yeah.
of take me through that?
So let's go roll back. I finished college. I got a college job. I hated it. I was a DJ at the time. DJing was I was too into underground music, so it wasn't really panning out for me. And I was like, well, what can I do that's creative? So I really fell in love with cooking. So then I went to CCA and then went to their orientation, and it was like they make a bunch of food for you to try, and I tried the food and I was like, this food's actually really not that great. And I'm like, and then the admissions person was calling me every day, trying to get me to come in and sign in. And I was like, this is kind of I don't know.
Want your money?
Well, when people are too aggressive, it kind of feels like
turn off.
not right, you know. So, And then I was like, talk to a lot of people. They have these debts, and then they come out and they work like close to minimum wage in kitchens. I was like, well, why do I want to be minimum wage? Why not just do minimum wage out the gate, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's what I kind of did. And just my friend had a job at a vegan restaurant, and so I worked there. And I was like, got into being really healthy cooking, which actually really good for me because it's like cooking without like fats and heavy salts and like the nuances of like vegetables and like just natural whole food cuisine. It's like it got me really to define my palate. And then from there I went to like a more like vegan, not a vegan, well I worked at a Japanese restaurant that did vegan food too.
Yeah.
And it was just like this old badass, she was like a 60-year-old chef, and she knew like tons of stuff. And from there I was pursuing Japanese cuisine. I worked at this really nice Japanese restaurant and a hotel. It was like the dream job. It was like union pay. I was working with the crazy Japanese chefs. It was Monday through Friday only. And it was like...
It does sound like a dream.
It was like,
in the restaurant industry.
At the time it was like 26 an hour, which is like crazy even for now.
Yeah.
And then 2008 hit, it was a big hotel. So because it was a union, my job was cut.
Yeah.
And so I kind of shuffled. It was actually like a blessing in disguise. I got shuffled up to the main kitchen, which is like more American food. Mm-hmm. And because I wasn't like high on the union seniority, they kind of just threw me wherever. And I just got so much different experiences there. And then working in a hotel, the quality of food isn't that great. And yet working with union cooks, they're like basically unfireable. So like they can do whatever. It's just kind of disheartening to see me being super passionate about it. There were super passionate people, but there were just people just clocking in and out.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, let me just start over and let me just try to do fine dining for a little bit. So then I saw...
But while you're doing all this,
yeah.
Was there like, did you have a vision or a goal, or was it kind of like, I just want
to learn
as much experience
keep my
as
head
possible?
down and learn, and just be humble about it.
At this point, do you have a kid?
No.
You don't have your kid yet?
Don't have a kid.
Okay.
So this is like way back then. Didn't have a kid then. So I was like, well, I'm in this place where I'm making money, but I'm like, the food quality and the passion is not there. So it's like, let me do something more extreme. So I did fine dining for a little bit. Fine dining is great. I was just a little too old at that point. I was like 32, 34, running around with these 20-year-old kids who can just
tweezers and shit?
put out, yeah, with tweezers enough, but they can put out more effort and energy that I was able to do. I was right about to get married too. It's just like, it's not sustainable. And it's like, fine dining wasn't really the end goal for me, but it's like, it was sort of an invaluable experience that I was able to push myself and like put in those kind of hours, because those are the hours I put in now. It was good. I got burnt out. I was working a lot. I was like really skinny, not eating, working a lot.
To be able to take all that, sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No,
so
no
I want to
worries.
know how we get to of all of these things.
Yeah.
We're at a pizza restaurant.
We're at a pizza restaurant.
Yeah.
So, okay. I guess I work a lot and get burnt out a lot of places.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of the story. I'm a kind of a workaholic. So I was thinking, okay, maybe, I am running a big significant part of this two businesses. So maybe I can run my own. And so kind of decided to like dabble and try to figure out what was really, I guess, low effort and high yield. And somehow, I know.
You just explained pizza perfectly.
But I'm just saying, like, so here's the thing. Like, at first I was looking at ice cream because my wife's uncle, he's a chef owner of a few restaurants in New York.
Okay.
So I just do ice cream. It's like, the guy I trained up to be a chef, he worked his way up. He has his own restaurant, and he started an ice cream company. He's just killing it. And like, I looked at the numbers and I like looked at the seasonality of it, and it's just like, all restaurants have pros and cons. And I was looking at donut shops for a little bit because like I was trying to figure out what restaurants don't go out of business and stay long in the game for a long time. And like ice cream kind of stays for a while, donuts kind of stay in the game for a while, pizza restaurants stay around for a while. And so I was thinking like pizza, and so it's like, then I took a couple trips out to New York and like ate a bunch of different places and sort of fell in love with it.
What were your favorite spots in New York?
Scars is probably one of my favorite. I don't go there enough. I like John's at Bleecker Street. I like Scars. of course, when I'm putting on the spot, it's drawing blanks.
So the idea came, and it was kind of like this thing seems to make the most sense.
Yeah.
And you took trips to New York intentionally just to eat pizza.
Yeah. Well, so like growing up, not to say there's not great pizza in the Bay, because there's always been delicious pizza in the Bay. But growing up as like an immigrant and like my parents being Chinese and like Asian, like they didn't really know about that culture.
Mm-hmm.
So my growing up was like Mountain Mike's, Round Table, and Pizza Hut.
Bomb.
And so like those are all great things. And like, I remember specifically like the tablecloths, the plastic tablecloths at Pizza Hut. I remember the first time I went to Pizza Hut, they had these like red plastic cups.
Just
and all
Coke
that
tastes better out there, though.
So I was just thinking like, okay, well that's my experience with pizza. And then I went to New York a few times and I was like, okay, I was kind of actually blown away because there's so many good things. Oh, Dafar was the first stop off the plane. And when I went there, they had a private event. They're like, oh, you gotta wait 45 minutes for a pizza or slice. And I was like, oh, I gotta come back. And so the square at Dafar was kind of a game changer for me.
Yeah.
But again, it was like traveling in New York. My sister had a city bike subscription, so I would bike around after everyone's going to sleep. I'd bike around and just try as many places. Square slices were really good there, and I didn't think I could. I really fell in love with square pizza, but I didn't think square pizza could sustain the business at first.
Yeah.
So we're kind of slowly been introducing them a little more, and they're getting more in popularity here. But
I feel like once people catch on, I feel like squares, at least in Los Angeles and probably on the West Coast, like they still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
Like we were doing tomato pies, Sicilian style slices, and like a Detroit kind of square, and everyone would have just told you it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is deep dish. And it's like, no, this ain't deep dish.
Yeah.
But, like educating somebody about a square and like watching somebody eat their first square, like if they don't know what it is, but they usually come back for it. It's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I also think, though, a lot of squares out here aren't that great.
Damn, dude.
No, sorry. I'm not talking shit.
I agreed.
Like,
I agree.
I'm talking about like, I'm talking about like the squares the squares that you get in normal places.
Yeah.
And like, so they're just like, it's a piece of heavy bread that's just like an afterthought. And so like the people who are doing like squares, like Square Pie Guys, the Pizzeria Delora, like State of Mind, those like the people who are actually trying to do like modern contemporary pizza and doing squares, like they're fucking killer. But like a lot of normal people's experiences with square is this heavy, dense afterthought piece of bread.
Yeah, it's like lunch. It's like the sheet pan. Like lunch, fucking elementary school lunch pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like people will come into hot tongue when we had all these options. We cut back because it was like, if you really want to do a square and do it well, I do think you need to put some time into it.
It's so much labor. It's ridiculous.
And if you're going to use the same dough as your pizza dough,
oh no,
then your fermentation process is going to have to be much different.
Yeah.
Depending on your. Don't get me wrong. I definitely do believe you can do it the same.
Yeah.
But to really make it great, airy, light, square, you're putting time and effort into it. Most dudes that I'd seen or that I had worked for, they just slap some dough on a tray.
Same day or whatever.
Same day, let it rise, bake it at night, and then that's your square.
Yep. So I think for California, there hasn't been enough great experiences with squares, even though there are a lot of people out there killing it right now. And so that's slowly growing. And I hope that grows more because I love squares. That's like, squares are like, they're heavy, or they can be super light, but the toppings can be heavier because they're more robust and like there's more flavor to it. There's definitely more oil in it, which is, satiating.
Yes. It's in the oven longer, so even if it's the same ingredients, you're going to get a different flavor because things are cooking longer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you find it as crazy as I do that we put the best ingredients in our pizza, our dough, our cheese, toppings, fresh produce, and then we put pencil shavings on our tables called red chili flakes? What is a red chili flake? We found out about Flatiron premium pepper flakes from a customer who actually brought us some. We were putting it on every slice we ate. It was gold. We were like searching for it like addicts in the back, just like, ooh, where's the Flatiron? Where's the Flatiron? There is no going back. When you pop these peppers, you are gonna know. You can smell it, you can feel it, you can taste it. The 4-pepper blend, which is actually the blend we have on every table at Hot Tongue, definitely has a higher heat level, and I'm a heat guy, if you know what I'm saying. It has the arbol, the jalapeno, the ghost, and the habanero. It's spicy. They are liberating pizzerias from low-quality pepper flakes. Flatiron pepper, you are going to know the difference. In here, real peppers from Italy. Let's go. Head to flatironpepper.com right now. Use the code PIE2PIE at checkout. That's PIE, number 2, PIE at checkout. And any order over $25 is going to get you a bottle free of the sweet heat. Put that sweet heat in your cart, and any order over $25, that baby's gonna be free. Do not miss this chance to upgrade your pepper game. Head to flatironpepper.com right now and join the Pepper Flake revolution. At this point, is she your wife?
Yeah,
And do you, what do you say? Yo, like, I think I want to open up a pizzeria.
Yeah.
Is she like,
Well,
sounds great?
You know, I don't know. So she didn't say anything when I was planning it.
Yeah.
But I definitely think opening a restaurant is a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
It's like, and so there was a lot of things that we could have talked about more about, but there was a lot of unknowns on my end. So like, things were definitely pretty hairy in the beginning because I was like, I'm still here all the time, but we're sort of getting more acclimated. And there's more comfortableness of me stepping away. At first, this is like, you're taking this opportunity, and maybe that's something about me. Like I hate to lose, so I hate to like close down. And so many places were failing so quickly. So I just wanted to make sure I give it my full attentive effort that I could, and give it my all. But, that comes at a cost too, like, in terms of personal life and health and all that. And
she has her own career. Does she help at all with the pizzeria?
No.
Yeah.
No. I think it's a good thing though, for sure.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of crazy because like a lot of people do have partners that help on, or business partners or other people who take on the load. So it's like, I was kind of figuring out a whole nother side of the business that I've never figured out before. Also doing the stuff that I normally do, which is being in the kitchen and figuring all that stuff out too. So it's like taking on 2 hats. But after things
way more than 2 hats. You're doing, you've got 1,700 different outfits, I'm sure. I was gonna say, like, with all that experience in a kitchen, do you feel like you had enough experience as a leader? Because coming into being a business owner is much different than being a manager. Yeah. Because the view is so much crazier, and usually when you open up a restaurant, you do take on some debt, whatever that is. Yeah. So the stakes are much higher. Yeah. Do you feel like you were prepared to be a great leader?
Yeah, I think so. It's like trying to just keep your stuff together and not lose it sometimes. It's been tough, it's stressful. But all my experiences have been real high pressured and so have been in so many situations before. I'm trying to keep my composure and keep my cool. But yeah, there's sometimes you get pushed around and sometimes things don't work out and you're like,
well, coming from those high energy kitchens and fine dining, I've seen the bear.
Yeah,
I basically worked in a fucking fine dining kitchen.
Our first,
because that's exactly reality.
Our first takeout day was like the bear. It was kind of funny. We rolled out Square, and apparently, if you're not on the Square online order page, the tickets don't print out. And I didn't know that, and so all of a sudden, we have 20 people show up, and my order's supposed to be ready. I'm like, I don't know your orders. All of a sudden, I turn on the order page, and all these tickets are pulling up, and it was just we're trying to get out of this hole for like another 45 minutes.
Well, that sounds like a nightmare. Your history in working in those high intensity fine dining, it's something I've never done. I've actually, in like the 15, 16, whatever years, I've always been in a pizza kitchen.
Yeah.
So that's like, I have no other idea of what it's like, and it gets intense, but like, is there like, and you've been in it long enough that you've probably seen some toxic shit, right?
In terms of, yeah, I mean, so like in my kitchens, I try to get rid of toxic energy as quick as possible. The saying
What I'm
that,
saying is, you saw that. Were you in kitchens where you're
Yeah.
like, I'm never going to fucking be that guy
Oh yeah,
or
yeah,
that
yeah.
girl?
So yeah, my management approach is pretty gentle. I'm pretty patient. It's like having kids. Like,
Are you a gentle parent?
yeah, I am.
Yes.
So it's like, of course there is always going to be a little bit of, pushing in a gentle way, or like, but I really, really have believe that if people care about it, they're going to grow. And if I don't see the progression, then there has to be something to do. Or sometimes it's like right now it's like more of like, okay, this person has got this skill. It's like, let's find the right place for him or her, and like try to utilize them for their talents. And it's more of like, it's like being a coach. It's like, okay, I got to put this guy in this position, this person in this position, and this is how we all come together and be successful.
Yeah.
I guess like, yeah, being those high pressure environments, and we're all human. If I was in a high pressure environment like that and I had everything on the line, I might become, like that too. It's like, we all kind of like want to open our place to get away from our crazy owners, but the reality is like the business might turn you into a crazy owner yourself.
Well, it's like, dude, it's like the
And
fucking
so, like,
dark side. It's
So
like,
and so I understand like some of the past ownerships that I've been under, but it takes a little bit of energy and effort to realize that and try to be different about it, and some types of overthinking things and just like changing the approach on stuff. Nothing's perfect. I'm not perfect for sure. I've made my mistakes. So as I say these things, I've made my mistakes, and I'm human as well. So
Of course.
but that's what we strive for, I guess.
yeah, I mean, I just asked that because you have such a long career
Yeah.
in kitchens, and I just imagine, I mean, I think about my progression into the leader that I am today. It took
Yeah.
a very long time
Oh, yeah.
to get where I'm at, but to go from that to like owning the business and be open for 2 years, I was just wondering, like, were you well prepared to
It's different. It's different,
have all that under your belt?
It's like, I think the cost of everything, and like, just like when you add the costs in the back of your mind to stuff, and how hard it is to make whatever profit to cover whatever cost of mistakes that happen, it's like, it's kind of scary. And like, I think in the beginning, it was really, when you first open any restaurant, it's probably really scary. I was hemorrhaging a lot of money, and like, I couldn't even believe like we weren't making money because we were busy. I had to sit down and like, it didn't have enough time to do with all the numbers because I'm by myself, right? And doing everything.
Do you have an accountant, or are you running your own numbers too?
Oh no, I have a CPA.
Okay.
Yeah, but I couldn't believe we were in the red when we were busy, and I just sat down one night and I was like, okay, well, here's where it's all going, So
You figured that out pretty quickly?
I figured it out pretty quickly.
Where was it all going?
Just labor and growth. Like, we basically just opened our doors with very limited money. We didn't have shelving. It was like every month, every week I was buying a new piece of equipment because we were growing so quickly. And just like reinvesting into the space, and, buying like plates I didn't think I needed, buying bus tubs I didn't think I needed, buying refrigerators I didn't think I needed. Like, I thought this place would be pretty slow in the beginning, and I'd be like, just a really slow growth place, and like we'd make the margin on just being low labor, low footprint. But we were kind of busy off the gate, and so like matching that and having the capital, like we barely had enough capital to get open, so it was just like just always being in a deficit. And
When that you're just talking about something I don't even know if we've talked about, which is such a good thing for anyone.
Yeah.
When you're opening up a restaurant, is especially whether you're busy 6 months after you open up or right away, all those like costs that you're talking about, where like you're going to be in the red because you're just trying to you're just trying to catch up with business.
Yeah.
So like getting more shelving, buying two salad spinners, like having to get more fridges. It's like you might be banging, but like you're still negative because you don't have the opportunity to continue to grow if you don't make these huge purchases.
Yeah. And it's like it takes money to make money. And so it's just kind of crazy, you know.
Well, you got to wrap your head around that too, especially like having to sit down and be like, what the fuck? It's so busy. I mean, would your team ever be like, would you ever get afraid that like your team is like, why aren't we getting a raise if it's like been so busy, or like, you know what I mean? And then you kind of got to be like, dude, like, it might look like we're busy.
Yeah.
We're doing bigger numbers, but let me tell you, growth doesn't equal more money.
And also part of the problem with my restaurant in particular is like we kind of price things. The margin of food costs is really not as where it should be, because we really want to offer a good experience, affordable experience to most. So the way we set up our, you know, and also I wanted to make it a good entry point for people to actually give us a chance. When I first opened the neighborhood, people thought I was like crazy expensive, like, and they were super mad at me. We don't have a telephone. They wanted this place to be like Gourmet Domino's, where they can come in and pick up their pizza in like 5 minutes. And so I really pushed to keep my pizza prices low, so they're affordable and people will be comfortable coming in, and it's not a big crazy hit on their wallet. But the margin that we take is lower because of that, and so we have to do the volume to make up for that. And it's but I don't have any problems doing that. I really like that approach. I really want to be accessible.
Did you drop your prices from when you started?
I didn't drop my prices,
so
but
they always stayed the same.
They always did the same. I might have raised like 2 pizzas up $1.
Okay.
And I definitely raised my salad prices because they were definitely underpriced. But I really want to just give people the opportunity to try us and not like feel like it's like too expensive. And so we're kind of based on like being high volume to make money. And so it's trickier to get that like when you feel like you're doing so much and at the end of the day it's like a little bit, you know, so it's a little tricky.
Well, it's also fucked too, because when you go that route, it's like if you have 2 slow days, it's like you need to keep up, you need the volume. So do you price yourself, because we talked about there's a few pizza spots in the area, would you say that you're like right on par with all of them?
I think we're pretty close on par, but like, you know, our 14-inch pizzas are really top heavy and some toppings. They're like $24, and then when you go to like something like Mount Mike's for that same crazy topping pizza, it's like 28 to 27, and so it's a kind of a huge.
Well, the illusion sometimes of food being cheap. You know, Mountain Mike's might have the deal where you get 2 14-inch cheeses for $12.99, and there's the illusion of getting whatever.
Yeah.
But like once you put the 3 toppings or 4 toppings that you want on that pizza, it's the same as your pie.
Yeah.
Except more and shittier.
Yeah, and we try to use the best ingredients we can. And so a lot of the pricing we do is like half marginally and half psychologically what people want and think they should pay. Just because I want people to give us an opportunity to come in and try it.
If your sausage needs aren't hitting all the right notes, then let Maestro lead the way. Maestro has been working closely with pizzerias for decades. They produce sausages designed specifically with pizzerias in mind. And you can tell their Italian sausage crumbles look like they were handmade in your shop, and they will taste that way as well. With over 80 years in business, family owned and operated, the family is incredible, and so is their product. It's quality sausage with quality ingredients. Click the link in the show notes. A classical masterpiece awaits you. Back to the show. How many pies do you have on the menu?
Ooh, I start off with 4, but I think I have like 6 or 7 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got how many apps? Salad?
I got 2 apps. Well, I got 2 salads. I got a crudo, a bolognese, and I got 3 desserts now. So
all made in-house?
All made in-house, yeah.
Is it hard for you, especially like with your kitchen background, to not try to put new things on the menu or change things a lot?
I think having the time to do that is tricky. We do like a weekly special every week. We put out a new pizza that's kind of interesting, especially because there's a lot of regulars who come all the time. So, but yeah, I think we're gonna add like a few more dishes this year and just try to get more engagement because we do have regulars that come every week and they've been back and forth. They've tried all the items, so it's good to change things too. But there's still a lot of new people that come in that have never been here before, so it's a good spread where it's at right now.
Yeah, you're happy with it.
Yeah.
Do you find any parallels in music and owning a restaurant or running a restaurant?
Maybe not owning a restaurant,
But cooking?
But of cooking. There's
Yeah.
like a lot of timing and creativity on the flyness of it. Yeah.
Do you ever like look back and be like, I never should have stopped DJing?
I
See those
mean-
mountains? Uncle Rico style?
I mean,
Do you have decks at your house?
I have decks in the house, but they're in the garage. I haven't.
Oh, dude, let's dust those off.
I know.
Let's
I mean,
get those out.
I think I should never have stopped playing with it, but I don't think DJing out would have been.
Were you scratching and shit?
Yeah. I
Like
was in-
8-track over there?
I mean, I wasn't A-track, but I was into that. Yeah.
Playing shows and stuff?
I was playing
Were
some
you
shows.
DJing for artists?
Not really for artists, no. But I primarily did like internet radio, underground radio.
That's what you're saying.
It's just like the genre of music is kind of more obscure and stuff like that. So
Well, you're talking about underground.
Underground rap
What's
music.
your favorite underground rap music?
I got into the real independent record stuff. I don't. And then I got into the old obscure '80s random like rap music that like no one's ever heard about these like obscure artists for a minute. And yeah, I don't know who's.
Just hit me with an artist, dude.
I don't know. I would say Gangstar is one of my all-time favorite rap, but I wouldn't say they're underground. They were underground in the '90s.
Yeah.
But they weren't. They're not underground now, just because of the longevity, So,
Yeah, or TikTok.
So Gangstar is a great one. Like Wu-Tang Clan was underground when they came out, and so like not a lot of people knew about that first single when it dropped.
Yeah.
But those are things that have been.
You were ahead of the game.
Impact.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like being in that scene, you pay attention to all the people that are coming out. So.
What kind of music do you play in here during service?
I play. Well, this is a really family-friendly restaurant, so I play a lot of like Three Sacred Souls, like kind of like R&B, kind of like old funk and soul vibes, reggae sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of families in this area?
There's a lot of families in this area.
Did you know you wanted to open up here? Like you were like, yo, this is it.
Well, there's a spot that I was looking at in Temescal. I was shooting for. I was going to do a slice shop there, straight up slices and delivery, and that kind of fell through. The broker kind of for that deal was the deal was super vague, so I didn't really feel comfortable with that. And then this was an old Thai restaurant that was for sale. A lot of people were struggling through COVID, so it was a pretty good price, and I felt like this neighborhood was really good. So I moved on it, but I knew the concept had to be a little different for the neighborhood. And I kind of thought about like my experiences as a family man, like what I would want in a pizzeria local that I could walk down to. So just like offering great pizza for the kids, but also great side dishes for the parents and wine and beer.
Yeah.
That's what I would want to be able to walk to.
100%. Anytime I can have a froster and some slices with the boy. Come on.
That's kind of the idea of this place.
Yeah.
But it's evolving a little more,
So when you do slices for lunch,
Yeah.
you had a vision of opening up a pizzeria,
Yeah.
but you did kind of compromise because of this space, right?
Well, I had to change the concept and to figure out what works best.
Yeah.
I think you can't always force a concept into every location. There's so many things to consider, so I think being flexible with that, but also just knowing that your product is good and like the product will shine through eventually, whatever format you decide to do. Hopefully, that will happen. Yeah.
What would you tell yourself 2.5 years ago when you were opening up this place? What piece of advice would you give yourself?
Maybe don't do it. I don't know. I mean, it's hard because we're hitting year 3, and it's so true where people say like, first couple of years you break even, and third year you start hitting profit, and like, so it's been a real struggle. It's been so much sacrifice and effort, and people think like, oh, we're busy and like I'm killing it and like should be all comfortable, but it's been a lot of work. It's I was here till 2 there, I was here pushing out squares last night and then coming back, going to sleep and come back for the interview. So there's a lot of little things that need to happen that I do, and a lot of effort. And it's great to be loved and be the neighborhood pizzeria guy, but it's also like at the end of the day, is it worth it? And I think it potentially, I believe in myself, it will be, but it's just I'm not out of that. I'm not out of it yet.
How often do you second guess yourself?
All the time.
Yeah.
I'm an overthinker by nature. Thinking, just can't stop thinking.
Do you have to stop yourself and be like, shut the fuck up, dude? You're doing this. Like,
it's true.
You fucking got it.
Because I'm sort of also like a perfectionist too. So it's like there's always room to get better and all that. But it's like, I get kind of negative in the self-deprecating ideas. Mm-hmm. But if I step away and look what I have built, and like, I mean, I really did a lot of this myself. I was coming in here by myself, painting it in the middle of the night. I was like fixing the floors. All this is kind of built, and like, it's really nice. It's great what I built. It's just hard to see because it's a lot of work and it's not a lot of money, and it can get stressful at times. And there's a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of change. And so it's, I'm just sort of like been drowning for a while, and I'm just starting to like just get better at treading water. And the easier you do it, the longer you do it, the easier it becomes. But
yeah, I just feel like for myself personally too, those imposter syndrome thoughts, like the self-deprecating, it's like I told myself, like, I'm not a big like New Year's resolution guy, but it was like, it's time to speak to myself with kindness and care, because if we need to be able to take a step back and look at what we've accomplished and be like, yo, this is fucking sick. Yeah. I might not be making any money, but look at what has been built. Look what is being built, and I will make money. I'll have that success. I'll have that time. Yeah. It's just I'm in the middle of it, and that's okay.
It's exactly where I'm at, and it's
terrifying.
It's okay. Yeah, it's just something I'm learning to deal with, and like it just gets more comfortable, and I do feel more confident. Like when people ask me how I'm doing, like I really say I'm comfortably breaking even right now, as I should be though. I'm in year 2, so. But we're growing, and the growth is slow, but it's definitely there, and the enthusiasm is there, and so.
You said comfortable, and I think that's a huge thing too, because I think nothing really changes in those situations, especially when like you're going service to service, looking at your numbers. But it's what can happen is you get more comfortable, maybe in the chaos, where it's like this might be a slow week, next week's gonna be fine. I'm not gonna pull my fucking hair out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's all you can do.
It's a roller coaster, though.
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, I know. I mean, my wife helps me through it. When I come home, anyways. Awareness is like a huge thing. And awareness is something that have been talking about, because we're in our 3rd year too. And it is so much about just getting to grow. It's getting people to come in. Yeah. Like, hey, we're over here. Yeah. And sometimes that can be really hard. Do you have a way of tapping into that? Or is that something that you feel like, because there's only gonna be growth if you can get new people in here.
It's true.
But if they don't know about you, even if they live down the street.
And I think that's the part of the problem, but we're really just word of mouth here. Mm-hmm. And so like, there have people that approach me to do marketing and stuff like that. But it's just like having the bandwidth and the extra time or the capital to do that. It's been a little scary to approach, because a lot of them are pretty costly. Oh yeah. And so like, well, do I have an extra $24,000 to pay for marketing this year? Like, no. I need to get all this equipment, or I need to do this. And so like, just being consistent with our numbers and like making sure that experiences are great, and having sure people are like blown away the first time here and super enthusiastic. Or we're really, really lucky. Our front of the house people are very enthusiastic and great, and so that also that energy also conveys onto the guests too.
Of course.
And so that's really helpful. We have some really, really lovely regulars, and we're so lucky for them. So lucky. So it's only going to grow at this point, I feel. But yeah.
That's right. Only way to go is up.
Yeah.
One last thing I wanted to mention too, because off camera we were talking about like you have more than a couple places where you go to get inventory. Right?
Yes. Okay, we can talk about that because it's a big thing.
Yeah. And so we would talk about Restaurant Depot and how like it's kind of consistent. If you want to get tomatoes there, you never have to really worry about certain items fluctuating that much. But with sales reps,
anytime you get something delivered to you, you got to pay for the delivery jar, and then you also have to pay for that sales rep's commission. So they're trying to get the most they can get out of you. I primarily started going to Jetro to get my pizza boxes because they're the cheapest, hands down, you can get.
Yeah.
I don't care if they got the stupid logo on them and they say pizza or whatever. My personality is what's more important is inside the box. I don't have to have the white box with my label or logo. Mm-hmm. I really just want to give the best experience and focus that capital on ingredients.
Yeah.
And so I go to Jetro for my my soap. I go for my pizza boxes. I get my drinks like Coke or like.
You're not going to get a better drink price.
But like, those are fair prices. The prices will always fluctuate. But if you have something brought to you, you have to pay for the delivery jar. You have to pay for the guy's commission who's selling it to you. So it could be whatever. The guy can go on a vacation next week, so your prices might go up 10%.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to make a little extra cash for his vacation. So like. And just dealing with negotiating with those things, I've had reps raise their prices mid-text to me. Like, olive oil, there's a big drought in Italy, so your olive oil prices went up 30% this week. I was like, well, none of the stuff you sold me is harvested right now. It's been harvested last year.
Yeah.
So why am I paying that extra money? So it's just like, whatever costs, if you can find the best ingredients you can, and you can get them at the places you can get, don't have to negotiate. You can. Of course, I don't buy flour from places I shop. I don't buy cheese from places I shop. I buy those from some vendors because they are the ones that carry the specialty items that I need. But
and I guess having multiple accounts, like it creates accountability.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of check people.
You can bounce between people. But I recommend, like, if you're starting off in the game, don't buy paper goods from people that deliver.
Or drinks.
Soap, drinks. Try to get all that stuff where you pick it up. And it's like, to make, $400 in savings, you have to sell X and X amount. So think about like how much you're saving by just taking like 4 hours to go shopping or something. It's pretty significant.
Yeah.
And I think I see a lot of new business owners do all these subscription things like towel service, cleaning service, autoclore, and like those things add up real quick. And when you have a tough month, they can be really they'd be really costly for you.
That's 100%.
So try to do as much DIY yourself, but know where to splurge and know where to pull back, I guess. Yeah.
What would you say? How would you say, like, in the last maybe 5 years, the Bay Area pizza scene has changed?
Oh, it's amazing. I love it. I mean, people say, like, maybe it's oversaturated, but the more the merrier. So, like, when you go to New York, there's enough pizzerias to sustain the demand for it. And I think, like I said, growing up in the Bay Area, the pizza culture here isn't really super enthusiastic about it. It's more like transient people, or just like people who are really crazy about pizza. But the more good pizza we have, the more interest we have in pizza. So the more the merrier for me. And I think like all the pizza owners that I've met are all super cool. They're like the nicest people. And I'm just like, I'm actually really ecstatic to be amongst all these great people. And so, but I think it's only gonna get better and better and bigger, and hopefully there's more interest for it. And so
Do you do
hopefully-
sourdough?
I don't do sourdough. I do a little bit of Polish.
Okay.
But sometimes in the hotter months, I do straight to ball.
Straight mix.
And like 3 to 4 days out. So.
And then why is there a fax machine above the door?
Oh, this place is so small. It's not a fax machine. It's actually my printer. So I don't have.
This guy's got a printer above his door.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of space for a lot of things. So like I didn't know where to put it, and like I put it up there. I actually use a
Dude, his office is in the vestibule.
It's a telescoping ladder. I use it and just I.
Do you have to get a ladder to get your
I got
printed
those
paper?
little like 2-foot ladder that telescopes up there, and I print.
That's tight.
And you know, it's like I said, this, I don't know if I said this or not. I really wanted a small rent place with a small footprint. And I knew that certain costs of mine would rise, but having that rent margin be at a specific place, I felt was easier. And it would come with some complications, and it has. But at the beginning, I just didn't know where to put it. I was just struggling to open. I just didn't know where to put it. It just lived there, and it has been there. It's kind of funny. Those people walk out. I was like, "Is that for show? Like, what is that?" It's
kind of sick.
So
I was like, "Yo, is that like 1998 fax machine?"
I'm up there every
some dial-up?
maybe once or twice a week, and I'm printing. So yeah, I've got preprint menus and
at least got color in there. Is that a color printer?
It's a color laser jet.
Nice. That was a laser jet, baby.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Did you ever in elementary school have the laser discs?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like the big ass CD that they put it in and it would still look like shit.
Yep.
They like played a 3-minute video. And you'd be like, what the fuck? That is crazy, man.
Hell yeah.
That ain't a VHS.
And you had to flip those things too. You had to flip them.
Yeah.
So.
God, going to the library room was sick.
Yeah.
All right. Last little thing we do. We're going to do over-under. So I'm going to say something, and you tell me if it's overrated or underrated.
Okay.
And you can tell me why, or you can just look at me dead in the eye and say overrated or underrated. All right?
Okay.
Okay, so overrated or underrated pre-ferments?
Underrated. But so it's all case by case, you know? I was super into pre-ferments when I first opened. I love the flavor. It depends. Like I use pre-ferments when we're busy and I need that dough like ASAP. Mm-hmm. But I have moved away from that, and I've like at first I was like really aggressive in my fermentation. So I wanted that fermentation flavor. So I was really into pre-ferments. But then the how much the business fluctuates, it's nice to have a slower and longer ferment. Mm-hmm. And I feel that the ball, when if you do direct to ball, which I do right out of the mix, the consistency of the balls are a little better. Mm-hmm. So it depends. I mean, I don't go months without using pre-ferments, but if I can and I'm on a good schedule, I'll do direct straight ball like 3 to 4 days. So
okay.
It's a complicated. You're throwing these. It's like it's a little more complicated than yes or no, I guess.
Yeah, but that's the fun of the game. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, overrated, underrated. Detroit style pizza.
Underrated. But I love Detroit style, but I love Sicilians more. I just love the crust. I love the crunchiness of the edge of a crust, and with Detroit style, you get that frico, which is amazing. Visually, it's amazing. But I don't know. There's something about Sicilians. I love the crust. I love the thickness of it. Yeah.
Okay. Overrated, underrated, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh, man, I'm not a baseball fan, but I would say the Oakland A's are underrated.
You got to answer. We're talking about Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a big enough baseball fan. I would say they're underrated then.
I'll take it. I mean, I don't even like baseball either, but people told me that there's like a huge Giants Los Angeles rivalry.
Okay,
People
okay.
get like the shit kicked out of them when they go to games and stuff.
Okay, okay.
And so I was just trying to stir the pot. So
Oh, yeah.
I don't really fucking watch sports either. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that worked out for both of us. The Oakland A's are underrated.
The
I'll
Oakland
take it.
A's are underrated,
The A's
though.
got a sick ass hat too.
I mean,
I gotta get an A's hat.
There was a point in time where they were the fucking.
Aren't they in,
such a
are they
great
in
team.
Vegas now?
They're gonna move to Vegas. So it's just like So
Dude, overrated, underrated, Las Vegas.
I was actually just thinking about that earlier today. I think it's overrated. I'm not a huge Las Vegas fan myself.
Mm-hmm.
I went there for the expo for the first time. I had fun.
Last year?
No, I went in 2018.
All right, I was
So,
there. Young entrepreneur of the year, maybe.
Oh, hell yeah.
I lost. You never went back to Expo?
I just, after opening a restaurant, it was like, I'm.
Yeah, you got all the Expo you needed?
But no.
I'm on the Expo line, bitch.
Not at all. Not at all. There's talk about us going next year, though. I won't
Bring the whole squad there?
I think trying to it'd be sick to bring the whole squad there next year and just close down.
Overrated, underrated, ranch.
Okay. That's all right. You're throwing that out there. So we don't have ranch here, but we have this thing. It's amazing. We have this ahi verde sauce, which is like what we call our Peruvian ranch. So I think ranch is overrated, but I don't think creamy sauces on pizza to offset spice or heat or greasiness. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
So ranch does that, but there's also a slew of creamy aioli-based sauces that can go and fit that need. And I would like to see a little more variety in that. So we have this thing called the ahi verde sauce, which is basically a Peruvian sauce. It's basically like ranch, but it's cilantro and lime based. So it has this little brightness that cuts through. It does the same thing that ranch does. It cuts through the greasiness and potentially spiciness, and it just balances out. And we could probably bottle that sauce. So I'm not opposed to ranch. I just think, and people ask for it, but I think there are a lot of slew of sauces of creativity that we could see more of than just ranch.
I love it.
So
I love it. Over, under, stracciatella. Or burrata.
I think it's rated just perfectly. I don't think it's either. I'm giving you.
Do you use it here?
I use it here.
Yeah.
I love burrata and stracciatella, and I think that's.
It's perfectly rated. You know, you sound like Scott Wiener.
Oh fuck. Okay. I mean, no offense to Scott Wiener.
He's the
but
man.
He's the man.
He's the man.
So I guess that's a compliment.
It is.
I just yeah.
I'll let that one slide.
Okay.
Okay.
But I think burrata. I use it here. I sell a fuck ton of burrata. That's one of our number one selling pizzas here.
So underrated.
I wouldn't say it's underrated because I think it's rated just perfectly. The people who know about burrata, it's enough. I don't think it needs to be like more. I don't think I want to see more burrata happening.
Okay.
But I don't want to see less of it happening either. So I think it's like kind of like perfect.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
I think going forward when I do this thing, I'm going to give everybody one pass. You can do one pass or one perfectly rated.
Oh,
you know?
hell yeah.
Okay, so I think you just started that. 'Cause I think that's fair. I think sometimes you really don't know. And the better I get at this, I'll ask spicier questions.
Yeah, I think it's just.
I'll be like, Carl Jameson. He's like, how do you know that guy?
I also tend to overthink things, so like there's always different angles that I can see things at. So it's hard to like say yes or no to certain things.
No, I get it.
You can ask me like hot honey.
That was
over.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that because that's a question I do ask.
Okay.
Overrated, underrated, hot honey.
So I think it's overrated.
There we go.
Straight up.
Shit's
I've never
overrated,
been a fan, but I just don't like too sweet on stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, overrated for me. But maybe there's some hot honey that I've never tried that's amazing. So
I really believe that hot honey on a spicy slice is pretty good.
Hell yeah.
You know, but I agree with you.
I gotta mess with it then. I gotta try it again.
Yeah. Or you basically take hot honey and I bet you could put it literally in ranch and make a hot honey ranch, and it's like, let's go.
Hell yeah.
Combine the worlds.
There you go.
Anyways, dude, I want to thank you for taking the time
yeah.
out. This was a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been so fun.
I've just fucking randomly slid into your DMs. I appreciate you letting us show up here this morning.
Of course, of course.
Thank you for your time. It was awesome.
Yeah, and you have the all-time, my favorite video is that the phone order from Hot Tongue. Like,
Are you talking about Jeff the Chef?
Jeff the Chef is
Yes.
my all-time favorite video, pizza
Jeff-
video.
Jeff
I
the
love
Chef.
that. When that came out, that's reigns so true because we didn't even have phones. We still don't have a phone line here. So it's just like, and it's for most of that reason that video
Yes.
portrays. And that just hits so hard.
I appreciate that. And because you brought that up, I'm going to explain Jeff the Chef to everyone.
Pizza Shop, this is Michael speaking. How can I help you today?
Hello there, Michael. This is Jeff, and I would like a pizza for delivery.
Cool, you got it. You got it.
I would like to build my own. Now, can you tell me what toppings you have?
Pepperoni, we got sausage, we got broccoli.
Do you have warm ham? I love warm ham.
Yeah, we do have warm ham.
What do you think about caramelized onions and pineapple?
You know, the customer's always right.
I'm gonna need the hams, the bacons, the spinaches.
Okay,
I just give it to me, y'all. Extra sauce, extra cheese.
okay,
You know I'm a chef.
okay,
On a Sicilian crust,
okay.
baked in a deep dish,
You got it.
Detroit style,
Yep.
round, crispy, and thin.
Uh-huh.
Well done.
About 45 minutes for deliveries.
Let's make it 30. Push my ticket a little to the front. What do you say?
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Okay, bye-bye.
Pizza Shop.
Hey, Michael, yeah, it's Jeff.
Oh, Jeff the Chef. Hey, how was that custom pizza you created?
It was disgusting.
Oh, really?
Well, I got it 30 minutes ago and I ate the whole thing. Toppings were all over the plate. It was like soup. I would rather call you than get on the Yelps.
I'm so sorry to hear about that. I'll give you credit for another pizza, or I can send another one out your way.
I'm already thinking about the toppings for next time.
Okay.
Try again tomorrow, okay? Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye, Jeff.
Anyways, throw your phone away and get rid of Bill Drones so I can too.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much.